Hello everyone, welcome to Apex Labs. In this session, we will understand about service territories in field service. So let's begin. Service territories are the geographic or functional regions where the work is being done by any organization. So in order to create a service territory, we have an object in the Salesforce field service, and that is service territory. You need to go to this particular tab and then you can create any service territory. So for example, I would create a new service territory in front of you, so with the name say San Francisco. So let us consider that San Francisco is our territory. As of now we are not defining any parent territory for it, so I'll ignore it. And then operating hours, so we'll also need to create an operating hour. So I'll create an operating hour for San Francisco. So for this I will define the time zone as EST, and then I will select the time zone for San Francisco. So here we have the option to select the operating hours. So we will select the one for United States and to San Francisco. Let's first of all understand what is the time zone for San Francisco. So it is GMT minus 7. So I'll select GMT minus 7. Yeah, so we have got GMT minus 7, and I'm selecting one of the values for San Francisco. I have given the name as EST to define the time zone for San Francisco. So let's first of all save this operating hour. So yeah, the operating hour got saved, and then I'll mark it as active. Now in order to give an address for it, I would just select one of the address, and that is for Salesforce Tower San Francisco address. So I'm just copying this address and I'll try to put this here in the address bar. Now we have got the country, so let me just separate it out. The country is USA and the zip code is CA94105. So I'll copy this as well. And the city I would name it as San Francisco. So I hope it will be able to capture the details of the address. And yeah, that's it. So let's save this. And now I'm expecting that a service territory for San Francisco would be created, and yeah, you got it, the address 415 Mission Street, San Francisco, California. So this is the address, and we can also click on it and then it redirects to Google Maps to help us understand where the location is. So this is the Salesforce tower which has been mapped on this particular this address has been mapped on our service territory. And we also have an operating hours with name EST. To make it simpler, I can change its name to Pacific Daylight Time. And then I will save it. So these are the operating this is another operating hour also that got created. Now we also need to define the time slots in which the service resources or the work would be done in this particular territory's operating hours. So I can go to operate time slots, and then I can create multiple time slots. So I'll select for Monday with a start time of say, the start time usually begins at 9 a.m. and then it ends at 5 p.m. So let me just define it. Yeah, and now I can just click on save and new so that I can create another also. Similarly, I'll create it for Tuesday, the same data, that is which will begin at 9 a.m. and then it will end at 5 p.m. So I defined the start time. Similarly, I can define the end time. So yeah, so now we have got two time slots, and you could also visualize it here. If I refresh the page, I would work on this page. There is some issue here, but as of now these are the time slots which are available here for this particular territory. Now we can also add territory members to the territory we have created. So for that we just need to go back to our territory itself. So yeah, this is the territory, and then in the related list we will have the territory members. So I can go and create a new territory member. So territory members are the service resources which will be working in this particular territory. So let me define one service resource which I had created, field service resource. The service territory is San Francisco. Now if I try to save it as primary, most probably I may be getting an error message. So suppose I select it today only, and then I'm not putting any end date, then I may get an error message. Let's try to save it. Yeah, so we are getting an error message saying resource territory date overlap with another territory date. So this error message is coming because our service resource, that is the field service resource, is a primary resource in some other territory. That's why we cannot have the same resource in another territory as primary resource for the overlapping dates. That's why, since it's not possible, that's why we would like to change the territory type to secondary, and then now we'll be able to save this particular record. So yeah, the territory member got created. Now in order to visualize the whole thing in the dispatch console, we can just go to this the app launcher, and then we can go to field service. Once the dispatch console launches, we'll be able to see both of our territories which we have created in this particular org. One is for Delhi and the other one is for San Francisco. We'll be able to see all those details in the dispatch console. So for that, I'm going to the dispatch console, field service. So the page is loading up. Yeah. Now we have this option with the help of which we can filter the territories. So since I want to see the data of both Delhi and San Francisco, I select both of them and I save it. Yes. So now you could see that we have got the information about the service resources present in our territories. So suppose we just want to visualize the new service territory which we created. I'll uncheck Delhi and then I'll save it. So we'll now see the information about the current territory. Yeah, so it seems that since our service resource is a secondary member for this particular territory, that's why other service resource is not visible in the dispatch console. So in order to rectify this, what we can do is that we will go to the other service territory. So we'll go to service territory, and then in the Delhi point we'll go to the Delhi service territory, and here, since our service resource is a primary member at this particular uh, from 4th of from uh, I think it is from the 1st of April. So what I will do is that I will mark its end date on 2nd of April. Okay, so here till 1st and 2nd of April only, this particular service resource is a primary member for this particular territory, Delhi. Now, in order to make this particular service resource as a primary member on the other territory, we'll again go to the other territory which we had created, and that is San Francisco, and then we should be able to mark this particular resource as a primary resource here, because of the fact that the end date of this particular resource in some other territory has ended now. So that's why I will mark this service resource now as primary. So here we go, we have marked it as primary, and then we'll save it. Now this particular service resource is now a primary in this particular in San Francisco. So we'll refresh this dispatch console. One other important thing is that if we go to the territory member record, and if I try to provide it some other address here, suppose if I try to make it as India with any zip code, and if I try to save it, so let's ignore this part. Yeah, now let's load this particular San Francisco territory data, and then you could see that the service resource is visible here. So that's why in the dispatch console there are some settings because of which only the primary service resource is available or visible on the territory. Yeah. So in this session we understood about service territories. If you like this session, do like this video and do subscribe to our channel. Thank you.